Evergreen Apartments was Mr. Adebayo's pride and joy. Located in a busy neighborhood with good schools, markets, and transport links, it attracted a mix of young professionals, students, and small families. For years, the apartments were filled with tenants who took care of their units, paid on time, and built a strong sense of community. Mr. Adebayo had built this property with his hard-earned savings and counted on the rental income to support his family and plan for his children's education. To maintain his investment, he hired Mr. Dinma, a young but experienced property manager, to handle the day-to-day operations, tenant relations, and upkeep. But as the years went by, new tenants moved in, and some of the older ones left, changing the dynamics of Evergreen Apartments. The relaxed management approach that once worked well for long-term tenants began to fall short in addressing the growing problems. Ms. Jadinna first noticed potential issues when she reviewed monthly maintenance reports and saw a spike in minor repair requests from newer tenants. Though these issues seemed small: leaking faucets, broken door hinges, and malfunctioning light switches, they came in at a volume that was unusual for Evergreen Apartments. She began to suspect that some tenants might not be taking care of their units as they should. However, eager to keep tenants happy and prevent any confrontation, she decided to address issues as they came rather than enforcing stricter maintenance and care expectations. Then, a tenant in Unit 3B, Mr. Kolo, who had only moved in a few months earlier, began repeatedly delaying his rent payments, often asking for payment extensions. He always had a sympathetic reason: sudden medical expenses, car troubles, or job issues, and each time, he promised to catch up, but the excuses kept coming, and his payments never arrived in full. Mr. Adebayo, who preferred to avoid difficult conversations with tenants, hoped that by being lenient, Mr. Kolo would eventually pay. This leniency, however, only encouraged more delays, and Mr. Kolo started neglecting maintenance in his unit as well. One evening, Mr. Dinma received an urgent call from Mr. Akanji, the tenant in Unit 3A, who reported water seeping into his apartment from under the wall shared with Unit 3B. When she arrived, she discovered a flooded hallway and water spreading into several apartments. It turned out that a water pipe in Unit 3B had burst, causing water to flood not just Mr. Kolo's unit but the surrounding ones as well. When plumbers arrived and assessed the damage, they discovered the problem had been building for weeks. A small leak under the sink had weakened the pipe, which eventually burst under pressure. Had Mr. Kolo reported the issue when he first noticed it, the repairs would have been minor, but his failure to communicate now left several apartments damaged. The next issue arose with Mrs. Uching Unit 2A. She was a quiet tenant who mostly kept to herself. However, complaints began trickling in from neighboring tenants about foul smells and pests. When maintenance entered her apartment for a scheduled inspection, they found piles of garbage and food scraps strewn across her living space. Rats and cockroaches had begun nesting, and they were quickly spreading to other units. The pest control needed was costly and intrusive, leading to other tenants having to temporarily relocate while the extermination took place. After this incident, the reputation of Evergreen Apartments took a hit. News spread through word of mouth and local social media channels. Potential tenants started associating the property with poor maintenance and hygiene issues, which deterred new, responsible tenants from applying. Existing tenants who had been reliable began to consider moving out, afraid that the issues would continue. The vacancies, combined with ongoing repair costs, began eating into Mr. Adebayo's monthly revenue, which put him under significant financial strain. Realizing the gravity of the situation, Mr. Adebayo knew he had to change his approach. After consulting with property management experts, he and Ms. Jadinna decided to implement a strict tenant management and property maintenance policy. They crafted a document detailing tenant responsibilities, the standard of care expected for each unit, and the consequences of negligence moving forward. All tenants were required to sign this document, and any breaches would result in immediate written warnings. They also made inspections mandatory each quarter. Ms. Jadinma and her team would conduct thorough inspections of each unit, checking for cleanliness, minor maintenance needs, and signs of potential damage. This allowed her to address small issues before they escalated, saving both time and money in the long run. New hires were brought on board to handle more frequent maintenance requests, and an emergency response team was set up to ensure quick action in case of leaks or other urgent repairs. New policies and practices enhanced screening process. Every new tenant was now required to undergo a rigorous screening process. Financial stability, rental history, and references were all carefully checked. This added step helped filter out potential problem tenants and ensured that only reliable renters moved in. Updated security deposit requirements. The security deposit was increased to cover any significant damages tenants might cause. This gave tenants a stronger incentive to take better care of their units, as they now risked losing a larger deposit if they neglected maintenance or cleanliness. Damage Control Fund. Mr. Adebayo set aside a portion of the monthly rental income to create a damage control fund. This fund covered unforeseen repairs and maintenance emergencies without impacting his personal finances, ensuring that the property could be restored quickly in case of accidents. Incentives for responsible tenants. Mr. Adebayo also introduced a small rent reduction program for tenants who kept their units in good condition, reported minor issues promptly, and avoid late payments. This positive reinforcement encouraged good behavior and boosted tenant morale. Clear lease terms. Tenants were now explicitly informed of their obligations for repairs and cleanliness. Any failure to report damage in a timely manner would result in penalties or even eviction for serious violations. Over the next year, Evergreen Apartments slowly regained its reputation. The new tenant screening process attracted responsible tenants who took pride in their living spaces. Maintenance requests became more manageable, and inspections revealed fewer issues over time. The increased security deposit and routine inspections held tenants accountable for the state of their units. Online reviews began to improve, and vacancies filled up with tenants who valued the clean, well-maintained building. For Mr. Adebayo, the experience was a hard-learned lesson in tenant damage control. He understood now that a hands-off approach to management could easily lead to a devaluation of his property. By enforcing a robust maintenance policy and addressing issues as soon as they arose, he secured the long-term value of Evergreen Apartments. Not only did his rental income stabilize, but he also regained the confidence and satisfaction of his tenants, making Evergreen a desirable address once more. Lessons learned. Documentation and accountability. Written policies and thorough documentation create accountability for both tenants and management. They ensure everyone knows the expectations and consequences for not meeting them. Proactive maintenance saves money. Quarterly inspections and timely maintenance prevent small issues from becoming costly repairs. Tenant screening is essential. Investing in a detailed screening process can reduce potential risks and maintain a positive property environment. Incentivize good behavior. Rewarding responsible tenants fosters a cooperative atmosphere and encourages others to follow suit. Plan for the unexpected. A dedicated damage control fund ensures that property issues are handled without compromising income stability. Evergreen Apartments is now a thriving property with a strong, responsible community of tenants. The journey taught Mr. Adebayo and Ms. Jadinna the importance of proactive property management, and their story has become a lesson in the local property management community. The building's renewal serves as a cautionary tale for landlords and property managers, emphasizing that managing tenants well is just as important as managing the property itself. Today, Evergreen Apartments is not just an investment for Mr. Adebayo. It's a success story about the value of diligent property management and tenant accountability. If you find this story enlightened, please like, comment, share and subscribe to my channel for more content on property, facility and real estate management business tips. Thank you for watching. See you in my next video. God bless you.